Picture this. You open a blank spreadsheet with 3,000 rows of sales data, and instead of spending your afternoon building pivot tables, you type one sentence and a finished dashboard appears in front of you. Then you switch to Word, and instead of staring at a blank page, a full first draft of your report is already sitting there, structured, formatted, ready to edit. Then you open your code editor, describe a feature in plain English, and watch it get built across multiple files while you sip your coffee. That's not a preview of the future. That's Copilot, running right now inside Excel, Word, Outlook, PowerPoint, VS Code, and Visual Studio, and almost nobody is using it properly. Most people open Copilot once, type something vague like "help me with this," get a mediocre answer, and never touch it again. That's not a Copilot problem, that's a prompting problem. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to fix it in every single one of these apps. Look at this Excel workbook. 3,000 rows, no formulas, no chart, completely raw. One prompt later, there's a clean forecast model, a trend chart, and a written summary explaining exactly what the numbers mean. That took under a minute, and there's no reason your version can't look identical. Here's why this actually works, and it's not magic. Copilot inside Microsoft 365 apps isn't just a chatbot bolted onto the side of your screen. It can see the actual structure of your file, your columns, your slide layout, your document headings, and it can now take direct multi-step action inside that file instead of just describing what you should do. That shift from giving advice to doing the work is the single biggest change in how these tools function, and it's exactly why the old way of using Copilot, one tiny question at a time, feels so disappointing compared to what it can actually do. Before we go further, tap that like button. It genuinely helps this reach more people trying to get real value out of these tools instead of wasting their subscription. Drop a comment and tell me which app you use most: Excel, Word, Outlook, or your code editor. I read every single one. And instead of the usual subscribe request, here's something better. I test new AI deals every week. If a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. Let's start in Excel, because this is where Copilot earns its keep the fastest. Open a workbook that's saved to OneDrive with autosave turned on. That part matters because most of Copilot's editing features simply won't activate on a file sitting only on your local drive. Look in the lower right corner of the window for the Copilot icon and click it. You'll notice 3 modes waiting for you: Edit, Plan, and Chat. Edit mode is the default, and it lets Copilot modify your workbook directly, adding formulas, building tables, creating charts, all inside the grid itself. Plan mode is for anything complicated. It makes Copilot lay out its approach first so you can review the steps before a single cell changes. Chat mode keeps things read-only, perfect when you just want Copilot to explain what your data means without touching anything. Try this exact prompt on a real sales sheet. Build a 12-month forecast model using this data, break it down by region, and flag any month where growth drops below 5%. Copilot reads your columns, understands what revenue and region actually mean in context, builds the forecast with working formulas you can click into and inspect, and highlights the risky months automatically. That last part, the flagging, is what separates this from a basic formula generator. It's actually reasoning about your numbers, not just filling cells. Now, here's the warning, and this is the exact mistake almost everyone makes the first time they try this. People type something like "clean up this data" with no further detail, and then they're confused when Copilot barely changes anything or gets it wrong. Copilot in Excel performs dramatically better with structured tables than loose ranges of numbers. Before you ask for any analysis, select your data and turn it into a proper Excel table first. That's Insert, then Table, then confirm your headers. Once your data lives in a real table with named columns, Copilot's accuracy jumps noticeably because it can finally understand what each column represents instead of guessing from raw numbers alone. Skip that one step and you'll blame Copilot for a data formatting problem that was never Copilot's fault to begin with. Let's move into Word, where the entry point looks a little different lately. Newer versions of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint now use something called the Dynamic Action button, a single Copilot icon anchored in the corner of your document that opens the same chat pane you had before, just from one consistent spot instead of scattered menu locations. Click it, and you can either edit an existing document or generate a completely new one from scratch. Try this prompt on a blank document. Create a 2-page project proposal with an introduction, a problem statement, a proposed solution, and a rough timeline for a small marketing campaign. Copilot won't just dump generic paragraphs on you. In current versions, it actually asks clarifying questions first, things like your intended audience and tone, before generating anything. Answer those, and what comes back is a structured draft you can immediately start refining, instead of a vague wall of text that needs to be rewritten from zero. Once you have a draft, this next move is where most people quit too early. Instead of manually rewriting paragraphs yourself, give Copilot high-level directional feedback the same way you'd brief a junior writer. Say, make the problem statement more urgent, or shorten the timeline section by half, or add a section addressing budget concerns, and Copilot revises in place, keeping your formatting and structure intact. This iterative back and forth is dramatically faster than the traditional cycle of writing everything yourself and polishing sentence by sentence. PowerPoint follows a similar logic, but the real advantage lives in a feature people almost never use, feeding it an existing deck instead of starting empty. Open a presentation you already built, click the Copilot icon, and try Tighten the message on slide 4. Turn the bullet list into a simple timeline visual, and match the color scheme already used in the rest of the deck. Copilot respects your existing brand colors, layouts, and object styles, instead of overriding your design with something generic, which used to be one of the biggest complaints about early versions of this feature. It can also generate original images directly inside your slides and prepare a list of questions your audience is likely to ask, which is genuinely useful the night before a real presentation. Now for Outlook, where Copilot's job is smaller, but arguably saves you the most repeated time throughout an ordinary workday. Open a long email thread, one of those threads with 40 replies you'll never fully read, and look for the Copilot Summarize option near the top of the message. One click gives you a clean summary of what was actually decided, not just what was said, which is the distinction that matters most in a long thread full of back and forth. For drafting, highlight the general point you want to make, something like, let the client know the deadline moved by 1 week and we still need their sign-off on the design, and let Copilot expand that into a properly formatted professional email. You're not asking Copilot to invent the message, you're asking it to expand and polish a message you already know you want to send, which produces far better results than a vague, write me an email prompt ever will. Now let's shift gears completely, because Copilot inside your code editor works on a fundamentally different principle than Copilot inside Office, and treating them the same way is the second big mistake people make. Open VS Code. Look at the status bar along the bottom of the window and you'll find the Copilot icon there. Hover over it and select the option to enable AI features, then sign in with your GitHub account. Inside Copilot Chat, you'll see a mode selector with 3 real options: Ask, Agent, and Plan. Ask mode is conversational, perfect for questions like, why is this function throwing a null reference error? Agent mode is where the actual power lives. Describe a full task in plain English and Copilot will plan the approach, edit multiple files across your project, run terminal commands, and fix its own errors along the way, all inside what's called your Workspace. Plan mode sits in between. It produces a detailed implementation plan first, so you can review the exact steps before Copilot touches a single line of code. Try this in agent mode on a real project. Add user authentication using JSON Web Tokens, update every route that currently checks session cookies, and add a token refresh mechanism. Watch what happens. Copilot searches your entire workspace for every file connected to authentication, builds a coordinated plan across all of them, and executes changes file by file while showing you a diff of every single edit before it's finalized. Here's the warning that catches almost every beginner off guard, and it wasted hours of my own time the first week I used this seriously. Agent mode only has access to files inside your current workspace folder.
If you open one project folder in VS Code and expect Copilot to also edit files sitting in a completely different folder on your computer, it simply can't see them, and you'll sit there wondering why your carefully written prompt did nothing to that other file. The fix is simple once you know it. Open the parent folder that contains both directories as your workspace, and now Copilot has visibility across everything you actually need it to touch. This single workspace boundary is probably the most common source of Copilot isn't working complaints online, and it's almost never actually a Copilot failure. One more genuinely useful habit here. Create a file called copilot_instructions inside a folder named .github at the root of your project, and write your team's coding standards directly into it. Things like your preferred naming conventions or which libraries to always avoid. Copilot automatically reads this file in every future session in that project, so you stop repeating the same instructions in every single prompt. Now let's talk about Visual Studio, the full desktop IDE, not the lightweight editor. Because Copilot behaves noticeably differently here, and it's built specifically for larger, more structured code bases. Open Copilot Chat inside Visual Studio and look at the agent picker at the bottom of the window. Beyond the general-purpose agent, Visual Studio ships with specialized built-in agents you can call directly by name using the @ symbol. Things like @Debugger, @Profiler, and @Test. If your program crashes with an exception, don't just paste the error into the general chat and hope for the best. Start a debugging session first, then type @Debugger. Why is this exception happening and how do I fix it? Because the debugger agent has access to your live runtime state, your variables, and your call stack at the moment of the crash, it gives you a fundamentally more accurate answer than a static text explanation ever could. For genuinely large tasks, Visual Studio can also hand work off to the cloud agent entirely. Select the cloud option in the Copilot Chat picker, describe a well-defined task like adding a specific feature or writing a batch of missing unit tests, and Copilot creates a GitHub issue, clones your repository on remote infrastructure, does the work asynchronously, and opens a pull request for you to review, all without keeping Visual Studio open on your machine. This isn't meant for exploratory back-and-forth coding. It's built for clearly bounded tasks where you're comfortable stepping away and coming back to a finished result. Let's bring this together with the one habit that actually determines whether any of this feels magical or disappointing. And it's the same rule across every single app we just covered. Vague prompts get vague results in every single one of these tools, without exception. Help Me With This spreadsheet will always underperform, identify the top 3 revenue drivers in this data, and build a chart comparing them by region. Fix My Code will always underperform. The login function throws a null reference error when the email field is empty. Find the cause and fix it. The apps didn't get smarter this year so much as they got better at rewarding people who describe exactly what they want and punishing people who don't. I test new AI deals every week. If a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. Here's your fast recap. In Excel, structure your data into a real table first, then use edit mode for direct changes and plan mode for anything complex. In Word and PowerPoint, use the dynamic action button. Answer Copilot's clarifying questions honestly and give directional feedback instead of rewriting everything yourself. In Outlook, let Copilot summarize long threads and expand your rough points into polished emails instead of asking it to invent the message from nothing. In VS Code, remember agent mode only sees your open workspace and set up a persistent instructions file so you stop repeating yourself. In Visual Studio, call specialized agents directly by name for debugging and testing, and hand off well-defined bounded work to the cloud agent when you want to step away. Microsoft ships changes to these tools every single month, sometimes small tweaks, sometimes entire new modes that replace how a feature used to work, and most tutorials online are already outdated by the time you find them. I track every one of those changes as they happened and post the updated workflow the moment something shifts, so you're never stuck practicing a method that stopped working 3 updates ago. That's the real reason to stick around here, not because I'm asking you to, but because this is genuinely the fastest way to know the second something changes.